Greetings, everyone. Saturday, 19th of January, 2019, 13 below. No wind, 13 below. Man, doesn't seem to bother my dogs when I run them, but it bothers the hell out of me. Okay, I'm going to show you something here. Can you see this? No, don't say nothing. You think you know what I'm holding in my hand here. I'll give you a little clue. A lot of people like to cut these things up into wedges, and they like to squirt them in their iced tea drinks, their booze drinks. I like to cut them up into wedges, squeeze them on my seafood. I'll tell you what that is, even though you think you already know what that is, but I am going to tell you shortly what that is, what I was holding in my hand. All right. Got to do a little review here, people, and I can make mistakes, and that's what's nice about watching these videos in sequence. The next one allows me to create a mistake in the last one. I said, you might have missed it, I said there's nothing backing this money. People, every gold bug money guru, every constitutionalist, boy, in the old days we had gold-backed money. In the old days we had silver-backed money. We have never had anything backing anything. In the old days, you could redeem a Federal Reserve note for the gold or silver coin held in the depository institution, the warehouse, the bank. It was redeemable, not backed. Redeemable in gold, redeemable in silver. And, you know, I'm human, I make mistakes. Okay, second point. I was talking about why kill consumers? Why let the imaginary revenue service reduce our consumption with illusionary taxes? Because in the real world, people, production cannot exceed 100%. In the real world, 100% is total. In the fantasy, illusionary world of credit is money, it can be 1,000%, 15,000%. So you've got to ruthlessly regulate the ratio between real production versus unlimited consumption. That is why wars are an effective way to kill consumers. That is why the illusion of taxes effectively reduces consumption. But as Robert Strange McNamara said, who was Defense Secretary to JFK, there are a number of ways to reduce the population. All right. Let's get back into I Bet You Thought. And we're going to do a little review here. Remember, checks. Page 7. Checks aren't money in themselves. They are simply order forms instructing banks and other depository institutions such as savings banks and credit unions to move transaction balances, numbers. Banks don't keep cash in checking accounts and don't transfer currency or coin when acting on a check's instructions. Checkbook balances are transferred between accounts as bookkeeping entries only. Numbers. And one more little point here. The legal tender thing. Coin and currency are legal tender, quote unquote. Money the government says has to be accepted. The government says we got to take it if offered to settle a debt. But that approval doesn't make cash any more quote unquote real than checkbook money or similar transaction balances. Okay, people, a little honesty here. Who besides me has ever bounced a check? You know, I'm the only guy who's done it? Okay, fine. We'll go with that. So, how do you bounce a check? You write one out to a merchant or your friend or whatever. They go to redeem it, and bank says, check's no good. What do you mean it's no good? The guy's got no money in the account at the moment. Check. Bank, you get notified. You're going to get a $25 fee for bouncing a check. And you better make it good. Better get some cash down there to deposit it, even though they say banks don't keep cash in checking accounts. You better bring some down to the bank, make that check good, or you're going to see the judge. All right, what's the charge? It's a criminal charge. NSF, issuing a check with insufficient funds. How is that possible, people? They just told you banks don't keep cash in checking accounts and don't transfer currency or coin. I mean, come on. What am I supposed to keep in this account to make that a good check? And here's a better thing to consider. If a bad check is a check you can't redeem at the bank, you can't cash, then how come our currency today, these Federal Reserve notes, how come that's not bad currency? There's no redemption. They removed the redemption in the early 60s. You used to be able to take one of these like a warehouse receipt, and you used to be able to go to the bank or the Treasury or any Federal Reserve Bank, sit right on the note. You could redeem it for lawful money. What was lawful money? Gold or silver in coin form. That's what was lawful money. Today, the best I can get for one of these crinkly, wrinkly things here. Oh, I'm so good at this. You know, one of these days I'm going to learn how to run this thing. I can get a Susan B. Anthony super quarter. You know what I mean? I can get a copper nickel slug. And if you recall from yesterday's video too, seigniorage, the difference between the base value on the coin and the metallic content, 97% difference, debt monetized in your mind. You're taking a that's the best you can get with these Federal Reserve notes. That's the best you can get if you went to cash a check at the bank. Copper nickel slugs. You're taking a 97% loss, people, monetizing that loss, that debt in your mind, calling it money. Well, I've been paid. And then you report it on a 1040 to the Imaginary Revenue Service as income. When did a 97% loss become income? I don't know. Okay, time's moving along. We're good. Let's take a look at this. You probably think I'm holding a lemon. You're wrong. What I'm holding in my hand, and which probably won't show, I'm holding 20 lemons. Do you know how I know that? Because I can see the backside of this lemon, and you can't. And if I spin it around, hopefully, I see it. 20 lemons. And you're not believing me, are you? It says 20 lemons. It says 20. Okay. What if it said above that or below it or to the side of that, U.S. Department of Agriculture? Now, would you believe that this is 20 lemons? You wouldn't, would you? Yet you tell me, or most people, if you ask them a question, what is a dollar, they'll say it's a piece of paper, looks like that, old Honest George on there, upside down, of course. And I'll say to you, if a dollar is a piece of paper, how come $20 isn't 20 pieces of paper? How can $20, if a dollar is a piece of paper, how can one piece of paper be 20 of anything? It says 20 all over the place. Got a nice engraved picture of President Andrew Jackson. Running out of time. Doggone it, I got to keep these things short. You see what I'm saying, people? You know that what I hold in my hand here is a lemon, one lemon. If a lemon's a piece of fruit, 20 lemons would have to be 20 pieces of fruit. You know that. But we lose our mind when it comes to this. One piece of paper is 20? Okay, see our problem? You had to go to school to get that dumb. And almost 50 years ago, 11th grade I think it was, I took a class, economics. I remember the teacher's name, Ron Stave. And you know what was remarkable about that class? You know what? The only thing I can remember about that class, we took a week to take a fictitious name, fictitious income, and learn how to file a 1040 long form. Can you imagine that? And that was 1972, and that was 4 years after June 24th, 1968, when there was no way to pay taxes. So you have reasonable sounding people talking about taxes, but they don't first talk about there is no payment mechanism to pay those taxes. More tomorrow, people. Sorry I didn't get what I wanted to get to today, but hey, it's late, but we still got some time left. 19 subs. We're growing. Thanks for watching. Share. See you tomorrow.